はい、今日はですね、カルマと、波動調整器についてお話ししていこうと思います。タイムウェーバーとかね、ヒーリーの分析をしていくとですね、カルマとかね、ご先祖さんの情報とか、ね、っていうのも文章として教えてくれるんですけども、不思議といえば不思議なんですけども、カルマって良いカルマと悪いカルマとね、ありますけども、行いとかね、業とか言いますけども、自分がやってきたことのが、また返ってくると。悪いことをすると悪いことが返ってくる。良いことをすると良いことが返ってくるという、意味合いでよく使われますけども、このカルマっていうのが、僕たちは生まれる、輪廻転生をね、何回も繰り返してるっていう、概念に基づいてますけどね。この考えから、過去世で行ったことの記憶とか情報っていうのが、体に残ってたりとか、ご先祖さんのね、情報、これも遺伝子情報として、何世代前からもね、遡っていくとそういった人の、いろんなね思いとかね、当然遡っていくとすごい極悪人のね先祖がいる可能性もあるんですよね。そういった人の情報とかも残ってる可能性もあるので、そういったものもこう引き継いで、生まれてくるとも言われるんですけども、そういったところが原因で、体のね、不調とか病気とか、何かね、目標を成し遂げたいこととか願望実現とかそういったところの何か壁になったりとか、そういったことも、実際は、あると言われてるんですね。これはインドの方でも、インド哲学って言いますかね、そういったところの方でもカルマというのも何千年も前からこう言われてることなんですよね。で、僕自身も昔と去年アガスティアの葉っていうのを、開けたんですけども、アガスティアの葉っていうのは5000年近く前から僕自身の、情報があるとされてるんですね。これ皆さんあると言われてるんですけども、アガスティアの葉を開いた人は皆さんそういうふうに言われてるんですけども、そこに自分自身の、未来の情報とかね、今までやってきたこととか、過去世でどういうことをやってきたのかっていうのも全部書かれてるんですけども、そこでカルマっていうところを扱うんですけども、やっぱりこう昔の人たちっていうのは、その超能力といいますかね、僕たちよりもすごいね、特別な能力を持っていた人たちがやっぱ多いとは思うんですね。で、そういった人たちがこう、書き残してきたものとか、口伝で伝えてきたものとか結構あったりするんで、で、このタイムウェーバーとかヒーリーとかも、この開発された方もね、マーカス・シュミークっていうドイツ人の方ですけど、この方も、20代の頃にね、10年ぐらいインドで、僧侶としてね、修行されてたようなんですけども、その後にこのデバイスをね、開発されたので、そのインド哲学とか、そういったところの情報も、このデバイスに落とし込んでるんですけども、なのでこのカルマとかね、こういったところを、その深い仕組みっていうのは僕自身もよくわからないですけども、周波数っていうところで、どうやらそのカルマとか先祖の情報っていうところがこう、見えるかといいますかね、そういうところまでできるようになったんですね。それでこの機械で、情報をうまくね、クリアリングできるというところまでですね。情報フィールドっていうところですね。これは全て科学的には証明されていないですけども、僕たちの、魂とかね、意識の、保管されている情報フィールドっていうところがあるみたいなんですね。アカシックレコードと思うんですけど。そういったところとこのヒーリーがつながってですね、その情報を教えてくれるということですね。なので、この辺のね、ところも文章で細かくね、ヒーリーとかタイムウェアで分析すると教えてくるので、結構面白いといえば面白いんですけども、これをね、うまく活用してね、ご自身の、悩みとか、体の不調とか、そういったところの、改善策とかね、も見つかる可能性もあったりするので、僕自身も以前ね、体の痛みとかで苦しんだ経験もありましたけども、そういったところも、そういったね、カルマとか、いろんなね、先祖の影響とか、そういったところもクリアリングしていた結果で、改善された部分もあるので、不 不思議ではありますけども、こういったところもね、調整できるというところですね。で、AI の方でね、細かく、解説してますので、ご覧いただければと思います。
Okay, let's dive into this. Today we're looking at a piece of tech that claims to do something, well, pretty extraordinary. It says it can interact with the parts of our mind that are running the show from behind the scenes. You know, the parts we don't even know were there. So get this, the whole idea is based on this one core concept. A staggering 95% of what drives us, our health, our habits, our happiness, it all comes from our subconscious mind. That leaves our conscious mind, the part we're aware of, with just a tiny 5%. Think about that for a second. The vast, vast majority of our personal operating system is running completely on autopilot. So that leads to a really fascinating question, right? What if you could actually peek behind that curtain? What if you could not only see, but maybe even influence that massive hidden 95%? Well, that is the central promise of the technology we're going to talk about today. All right, section 1. Let's start by digging into a problem a lot of people face. You know something is wrong, maybe in your body, but all the physical tests, all the scans, they all come back clear. Our source material actually shares this personal story about someone dealing with chronic shoulder pain. I mean, they went everywhere, hospitals, clinics, but nobody could find a physical, medical cause. The pain was absolutely real, but the why was a total mystery. So with no physical answer, they turned to a different kind of analysis. And this one pointed to causes that weren't physical at all. It suggested the roots of the problem were things like mental stress, maybe some conflicts buried way down deep in the consciousness, and even this idea of ancestral karma, the notion that we can carry the emotional baggage from our family line. And this really highlights two totally different ways of looking at health. You've got the conventional approach, right? It focuses on the physical body, on the symptoms you can see and measure. But then there's this wave medicine approach, which is actually more common in places like Germany. It focuses on the body's underlying energy, its frequency, and something it calls the information field. Think of it like your personal energetic blueprint. Now, if that sounds a little out there, the source gives a great analogy to make it more familiar. Just think about acupuncture. It doesn't really operate on your bones or muscles directly. Instead, it works with the body's invisible energy flows, or meridians, to try and bring things back into balance. It's a similar kind of thinking. So if the goal is to work with these energy flows, how in the world do you do that with technology? Well, that brings us to the device at the very heart of this whole approach. Meet the Healy. It's described as a quantum wave adjustment device, and it was developed in Germany, which, as we just mentioned, is where this whole concept of wave medicine is a bit more mainstream. So what does this little thing claim it can do? Well, according to the source material, it's really three main things. First, it analyzes your subconscious. Second, it helps visualize those hidden issues you might not even be aware of. And finally, it works to adjust your personal frequency and that information field we talked about. Okay, now we're getting to the really cool part, the core mechanism. How does it supposedly work? Well, it's all based on this idea of accessing and, well, rewriting your personal information field. So what is the information field? The source compares it to the Akashic Records, if you've ever heard of that. But an easier way to think about it is like your own personal, energetic cloud server. It's supposedly storing all the data about you, not just from this life, but as the theory goes, from way, way back. And here's where it gets even deeper. The theory presented here suggests this isn't just your data. It's that our DNA might carry more than just a genetic blueprint, that it could also hold the emotional imprints from our ancestors. You know, their fears, their struggles. And the claim is that these inherited patterns can create blocks that mess with us today. So, the whole point of the device, its main goal, is to tap into that information field and adjust all that deep-seated data. The idea isn't to literally change the past, but more to kind of lower the volume on its energetic influence on you right here, right now. I know what you might be thinking. This sounds incredibly abstract and complex, right? But the way you actually use it is designed to be super simple and modern. You just connect the little device to your smartphone, you run an analysis, you pick a frequency program based on what it finds, and then you just receive the frequencies. For a more concrete example, there's a program called digital homeopathy. Now, in traditional homeopathy, you might take a super diluted physical substance. With this, the idea is you skip the physical part entirely. Instead, the device just sends the specific frequencies of those same plants or minerals directly into your information field. Okay, so what does it actually feel like to use one of these things? And what kind of results are we talking about? The source is actually very clear that this is meant to be a tool for support. And this is really important for setting expectations. Most users, the source says, don't feel some big physical jolt or sensation. It's not like that. Instead, what people report are more subtle, gradual shifts in their mindset, their perspective, and even their behavior that just sort of build up over time. There's a perfect quote from the source that sums it up. This is not about denying effort. It's a support tool to help your efforts succeed. In other words, this isn't a magic wand. It's positioned more as an amplifier, something to make the personal work you're already doing more effective. So the whole concept is that it's working on a completely different level. It's designed to help clear out those invisible blocks we were talking about earlier, those really deep subconscious patterns that things like traditional coaching or even therapy might have a hard time getting to directly. Finally, let's just zoom all the way out and look at the big picture, how the source material frames the bigger meaning of this kind of technology. The way it's presented is as part of this huge technological evolution. It's kind of like this. Right now, we're seeing this explosion in artificial intelligence for understanding and processing the external world. This, they argue, is like a parallel step forward for understanding our internal world, our own consciousness. And that leaves us with one last pretty massive question to think about. Are we heading toward a future where wellness is this seamless fusion of technology and consciousness? A future where we use devices not just to track our steps or our sleep, but to actually map and harmonize our own inner worlds? It's a pretty wild possibility to consider.